Good morning. This is Jason Tharp at Eastern Star Small Engine. Working on what kind of mower is it? It's a Toro. Got a small Briggs engine on it, 163cc engine. Guy brought it in, said he said the recoil was stuck. So we grabbed a hold of the rope, pulled on it, and it's like, man, this thing is, something's hung up bad, does he have the blade on it? Because the blade acts as a counterweight, helps these motors turn over a little bit better. So I had a sneaky suspicion that, we had something else going on. So we took the top off of it, and I'm going to show you what we found. Here's a little Briggs engine we're talking about. One thing I did notice, this thing's been run without a filter. Very fatal for a engine, whether it be 2-stroke or 4-stroke, and this is a 4-stroke. One thing I noticed, when you pull on a rope and the rope, it'll yank out of your hand, or super hard to pull, kind of like it's chugging. These motors should pull over real easy. What that tells me is timing. So we took the top cover off this thing, and we got to looking, and right there, that right there is your flywheel key cut out on your crankshaft. Now if you look real close, the other piece right there should be in line with this, okay? Therefore, it is out of time. This will make a motor kick, yank the rope out of your hand. And sometimes if that rope will yank out of your hand, and it'll pop you really good on the back of the hand or something, or bang your shoulder real bad. So if you ever have this problem, check the timing. So we're going to pull this flywheel off. We're going to put a new key in it, and possibly do something with this right here. I'm not sure. I'll have to call the customer and see if he's got the filter cover, because keep running it like this motor will not last long. So we'll get this flywheel off and get this flywheel key replaced, see how it goes. Okay, we got our flywheel puller on here. One thing I want to show you, so you can look at that bolt right there. Okay, it's a self-cutting bolt, or a self-tapper, or whatever you want to call it. Because usually these holes here, they don't come tapped. Okay, they're just you've got to tap them. You can run a tap down it, or if you can find a bolt like that, that's great. Little quarter-inch drive ratchet works really good. I really like these SKs because they don't jump and like a Craftsman quarter-inch. They got that little flip knob right here, and they slip and one thing or another. But this little SK, I really like that. I gave $50 for that. Wish I had 3 or 4 more, but really worked good. If you tighten that down, we'll try to get that tightened down. Okay, you run these nuts down here. Something else I do is, you don't necessarily have to do it, but I like to do it. That way I'm not running into problems in case something was to happen. But I put the flywheel nut back on it and run it down, to where it's not quite flush with the top of the crankshaft, but just to protect those threads. That's the only reason I do that. I'm going to walk over here and get a 1/2-inch end wrench. Sorry, I should have had this ready. But you take your 1/2-inch, 7/16. My bad. Okay. So you just start tightening that down. I don't know if I can get this flywheel to set still. I can feel it just gave up. Okay. Once something else here. Right there is your brake for your flywheel. Okay, so you're gonna have to squeeze the bell handle, you know, put a string or something like that on it, and what it does, it releases that brake. See that come down there like that, so you can get this flywheel off. But that flywheel is loose. We'll take that off and we'll get that flywheel key out of there, get it replaced, and see how it runs. Okay, we've got our the flywheel off, and here is there's a flywheel key out of it. Okay, and that throws the timing off. And so we got the new key put in it. Just line up your spots. Usually I put it back on with my Ingersoll 3/8 impact. It hits just about the right pressure. I don't use a 1/2 inch, which I do have a 1/2 inch Ingersoll here, but that thing will hit up to 100 foot-pounds, and these things don't need to be that tight. You'll end up breaking stuff. You start getting it that tight. But we got that replaced. We're going to put the top cover back on, see if this kicking and that jerking of the rope stops. It should. I've done these several times, and that's usually the issue. This mower back together. Flywheel key was sheared. We replaced all that. We're going to try this. I did notice it was low on oil. They always the thing we look for when we have a sheared flywheel key is, or we'll ask the customer, hey, did you hit anything with it? Rock, chunk of iron, basketball goal, water meter, you know, that sort of thing. Because every now and again, things will work like they should, you know, or shear the flywheel key, or break the blade adapter, or just bend the blade. But other times, that crankshaft gets bent, you know, and unfortunately, straightening those out, it runs into a liability issue. So they used to make a crankshaft straightener, which actually one can still be made. They're not necessarily hard to make, but for me being in business, liability, it's huge anymore. So you gotta pick and choose your battles, and that's a battle you really don't want to jump off into. So we're going to start this thing up and see how this runs. So here we go. Yeah, I can tell the way this thing sounds. It's been abused. That sure sounds like the crankshaft's bent. It's got a vibration to it. It should be smooth. This mower will work. You know, the guy might have to wear some leather gloves to kind of knock down the vibration, but it'll mow grass, but it's just not, it'll eat itself up eventually. So, all right, well, there we have it. Replace the flywheel key, and no more yanking the rope out of your hand, or feel like you're coming up against a brick wall trying to pull that pull rope. So that's it for this Toro.